All right, Mohaned. So it's your last set of essays. The exam is tomorrow. So as I promised, I will get these to you today before your exam. So let's take a look at the topic. It's local governments, moving companies to regional locations. What are the benefits and the drawbacks? Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed countries have debated the effect of companies on cities. New regulations from some governments have pushed some companies to move outside the large cities, specifically towards newly built economic cities. In my opinion, these new rules carry many advantages rather than disadvantages for owners, employees, and people. Okay. There are a couple of words that I might have changed, but other than that, I thought it was fine. Let's see. Experts throughout both the development and debated the effect of companies on cities. Yeah, I thought that this could have been a little more specific. What does that mean? And then I didn't like this, newly built economic cities. I think that you're trying to rephrase here regional locations, but I didn't really feel like this was particularly successful. An economic city. I mean, what's an economic city? So I thought that was a little strange. And then the rest of it was fine. All right, and let's move on. Actually, before I move on, remember here that they don't actually ask you for your opinion. Take a look. What are the benefits and drawbacks? They're not asking you if there are more benefits than drawbacks. So you actually should not give your opinion here. Okay, this is one of those interesting situations where they haven't actually asked you for your opinion, so you shouldn't put it in your introduction. Okay, so this sentence should have been removed. All right, now let's move on. Companies are Companies are the important backbone in the economic skeleton. All right, now you cannot start a sentence with and. So words like and, but, and because should not begin sentences. I know we do it all the time, but the fact is for the purposes of IELTS, you should really stick to strict correct English, and this is considered not correct, even though you see native speakers do it all the time. So avoid this, okay? So let's look at it again. Companies are the important backbone in the economic skeleton, and moving them to areas outside urban cities will give some benefits. All right, just make it one sentence. Firstly, companies, this is a little awkward. So firstly, when companies move to new regions, this will give them the chance to formulate the area as per the company's mission or vision. And this formulation will subsequently create a special atmosphere for the company and its workers, and it may serve as a free advertisement tool to its products. Not like, here you want for example. So for example, Facebook moved from its old location to a new area where or and, one of those would have been okay. Where or and, so where the outstanding design of the building gives customers, make sure you spell it right, a great impression about the company, which increased their loyalty. Okay. Here you're talking about the building, but here you're talking about the area changing. So I'm not really sure how appropriate the support is to what it is you're actually saying. I thought you meant the general area. So for example, if Facebook moves to, like, I don't know, some quiet region in Wyoming, then Facebook will help develop the infrastructure of that village, making it into a place that really sort of reflects the character of Facebook. But now here in your example, you end up talking just about a building. So I'm not really sure those two ideas are really tightly linked. So secondly, companies which, not who, companies which work in the industrial field and have factories. All right, grammar here again. So for companies which work in the industrial field and have factories, their move outside urban cities will decrease pollution. For example, Sabic Company moved recently to an area located 150 kilometers with an S outside Riyadh, which helped in decreasing the water contamination in the surrounding areas. That's the word you needed to use here, surrounding areas. Thus, companies can benefit from such new governmental rules to create a new atmosphere, and this will also decrease the end waste products and help in further control of pollution. Okay, fine. So I thought a lot of this was good. I mean, yeah, there were some grammar mistakes, but I think there were possibly fewer than in some of your other recent essays. So that's good, but still be careful with some of them, some of the vocabulary, and make sure that your support actually really reflects what it is you're trying to say. Let's look at the next paragraph. Such regulations will not come without drawbacks. All right, here I thought you needed a linker, like a however would have been good here. So why don't we try that? However, such regulations will not come without drawbacks. The first worth mentioning is a better way of saying this. The first worth mentioning is that companies will spend a large amount of money to build up good infrastructure and prepare a new setting. For instance, not such as, because again, if you such as cannot start a sentence, so you need to connect it to the previous one, and I don't think that's such a good idea. So just say, for instance, Aramco, one of the largest oil companies worldwide, spent almost $500,000 to build a new headquarters. Full stop. Okay. Another disadvantage is that local people who benefit from providing amenities like coffee, food, or accommodations will lose, LOSE, many customers. Careful with your spelling. So you didn't need such services. Get rid of it. Grammatically, it doesn't work. Therefore, transferring large companies to new regions will negatively affect both the companies and the local people. All right, I thought this needed a little more development. Take a look at this paragraph and take a look at this one. This one's like half the size. So I thought you should have said a little more here. And I thought there was, in fact, more to say. You're telling us that they'll spend a lot of money on building infrastructure and preparing a new business. Okay, so $500,000 to build a new headquarters. Well, maybe for a company, then that's not really a huge investment. Maybe that's something reasonable, and that long term they'll get that money back in many ways. So I thought that maybe your example should have been something different. Okay. Maybe what you should have focused on is not how much the companies have to spend, but the fact that maybe the area they are moving into does not provide services and infrastructure. And so a lot of their work will get slowed down, or their work will be more expensive because they don't have the necessary services and facilities in the area that they move to. So that kind of an example, I think, would have been more effective here. Okay. Now here you're saying that basically the companies or the businesses that profited from the company in the city, they'll lose a major customer. All right. I guess that's okay. You could have said maybe a little bit more about that. I think that might have been good. Or maybe you could have said that, not only will they lose a customer, but if they plan to continue business with this customer, like say, for example, you provide, I don't know, like office supplies to this company. If you all of a sudden have to transport your goods to this regional location, that's going to cost you a lot more money in terms of transportation, in terms of gas, in terms of all of that stuff. So it will be like a double loss. Okay, does that make sense? So I thought you should have said a little more here. So, to conclude, new regulations to push large businesses to move to new economic areas will help people to find new atmospheres, but this will not be without an extra financial cost on companies, employees, and local people. All right, that's good. I like that. Your conclusion was nice and strong. So, this is good. I saw a lot of nice things in this essay, but it does need a little work in terms of development, in terms of grammar. But other than that, I thought you did a fine job, so you should feel good about it. Let's take a look at this flow chart about tea leaves. I know it's over 150 words, but I do just want to check how much. Okay, 184, that's fine. Let's see what you wrote. This graph describes the process of making a cup of tea, and includes how to make white, green, oolong, black, and scented tea. All right. Overall, many types of tea can be made by getting fresh tea leaves, which need to be cleaned and sorted, and each type will go through different steps to get the final product. Fine, fine. To make a cup of to make a cup of white tea, you need only to steam the leaves, then dry them before you use to make your cup. All right, that's a little repetitive. To make a cup and then to make your cup. You did not need that. All right. Now, while does not work here because you need to have essentially you need to have two sentences to use while, and you don't have that. Let me actually see. Maybe this works. While green tea, no comma, occasionally needs withering, then steaming green tea. Okay. Then steaming or firing to facilitate shaping. Sometimes jasmine tea can be added during the drying phase, and then the tea will be ready to use. All right, that's fine. That's fine with the while there. It was okay. It made sense because this whole thing about jasmine provided some sort of contrast. Oolong, I know you're spelling it wrong. You probably couldn't figure out that it was saying oolong. You thought it said Coulong. So oolong and black tea go through a similar process. However, oolong tea needs, with an S, to be rolled in a basket to bruise leaf edges. Oolong. Okay, fine. Let's see. Then short fermentation, pan frying, and lastly, a drying stage. While the latter needs you don't need a comma here. While the latter needs rolling in strips and full fermentation and fringing. I don't know what that means. I think you mean firing. In the final step. For making scented tea, take green, black, or oolong tea and dry them before adding flowers or fruits, and finally cool them to enjoy your scented teacup. Okay, that's fine. You did a good job of grouping, so I like that you put green and white together. That worked. I like that you put black and oolong. That was good too. I don't love the fact that you just mentioned sorting and cleaning in your overview and then you never mentioned it again. Remember what the overview is. The overview shows us the main thing, the most important thing, the main trend. Okay. And just because you mention it in your overview, that doesn't mean you shouldn't talk about it in greater detail in your actual detail paragraphs. Because then, really, what's separating the overview paragraph from your details? I mean, you're essentially supplying the same information. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that. In fact, I think I would have preferred a different kind of an overview here. Yes, it's true. Many types of tea can be made by getting fresh tea leaves. It's true. And each type goes through different steps to get the final product. All of that is true. But like I said, this detail here, it's almost like data. Including it in your overview makes it feel like a detail paragraph. So a better overview here would have been overall, many types of tea can be made from fresh tea leaves, which go through a variety of different processes to create different tea types. And then that's it. Or you could have said, clearly all teas go through different processes, with white tea being the simplest and oolong the most complicated. All right, that was another way you could have said it. All right, so that's my feedback about this. I thought in general it was a fine job. I thought you did well. So that brings us pretty much to the end. I can see that you were working on your grammar. I'm not sure how you did it or what you did, but I do feel like that you had fewer grammar problems today. So that's wonderful to see. So with that, I want to wish you so much luck tomorrow. I hope it goes really, really well for you. I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel like you've worked really hard, and you will certainly go in there and do a great job. Okay, so let us know about your results. Let us know how the test goes, and we'll be really looking forward to hearing from you. So lots and lots of luck tomorrow.